I was folding clothes when it happened, just an ordinary afternoon filled with the rhythm of chores, the kind of day where nothing feels special. The laundry basket was overflowing, the sun was filtering lazily through the curtains, and I was lost in the monotony of folding shirts and pairing socks. Then, from the corner of the room, my daughter's voice cut through the silence. It wasn't loud, but it carried a weight that made me stop mid-fold, a sock dangling helplessly in my hand. "Mom," she said with a seriousness that didn't belong to someone so young, "can I ask you something? Why do you always look sad when you think no one is watching?" Her words froze me. For a moment, I didn't know if I had heard her right. I turned to look at her, my little girl with her big eyes and innocent face, staring straight into my soul as though she had seen through every mask I had carefully put on. I had thought I was doing so well, hiding the tiredness in my eyes, the heaviness in my heart, the weight of worries I didn't want her to carry. But here she was, noticing everything I had hoped to keep invisible. Tears stung my eyes instantly, not because of shame, but because of the purity of her perception. Children have a way of seeing truths. Adults spend their whole lives trying. To cover, I put the clothes aside and sat down next to her. She tilted her head, waiting for me to answer, her tiny hands fiddling with the edge of her dress. I wanted to tell her everything, to explain the stress, the bills, the endless responsibilities that sometimes made my smiles feel forced. But how could I burden her with that? Instead, I took her hand and said, "Sweetheart, sometimes moms get tired. Sometimes grown-ups feel sad even when they don't want to. But you know what? Your words just reminded me that I don't have to hide it all the time." Her eyes widened as if she hadn't expected me to admit it. Then she smiled softly and whispered, "It's okay to be sad, Mom. You always tell me it's okay when I cry. So maybe it's okay for you too." Those words broke me and healed me all at once. I pulled her into my arms, hugging her tightly, letting the tears fall freely this time. She didn't push me away, didn't ask more questions, she just held on, her small body pressed against mine, giving me comfort I hadn't realized I desperately needed. That evening, after she had gone to bed, I sat alone, staring at the folded pile of clothes. Her words kept echoing in my head. "Why do you always look sad when you think no one is watching?" I realized that I had been trying so hard to be strong, to protect her from my struggles, that I had forgotten an important truth. Strength doesn't mean pretending you're invincible. Sometimes strength is allowing yourself to be human, to feel, to break, and to rebuild. That night, my daughter taught me something I hadn't expected, that even in my vulnerability, I could still be a role model. In fact, maybe it was the most important way I could show her what resilience looks like. I thought folding clothes was just another meaningless task in a long day. But in that simple, ordinary moment, my daughter's words had opened a door to a deeper understanding between us, one that would grow into a lesson neither of us would ever forget. The next morning, as I prepared breakfast, I kept thinking about my daughter's words from the night before. Her little voice still echoed in my head, gentle but piercing. "It's okay to be sad." Mom, I realized how much weight I had been carrying in silence. Somewhere along the way, had convinced myself that being a good mother meant never letting my children see me struggle, never letting them sense the exhaustion, the doubt, or the fear that sometimes pressed heavily on my chest. But maybe I had been wrong. Maybe what my daughter needed wasn't a perfect mother, but a real one who could show her that emotions are not weaknesses, but truths. As I watched her eat her toast that morning, swinging her legs under the table, I felt a shift inside me. I had always tried to teach her resilience, reminding her not to give up when puzzles got too hard or when she stumbled while learning to ride her bike. But I had never shown her that resilience isn't about hiding pain, it's about moving forward with it. She had given me permission to be honest, and I decided I wouldn't waste it. Later that week, something happened that tested my resolve. I had a stressful day at work, the kind of day that leaves you drained before you even get home. My instinct was to put on my mask, to plaster on a smile as I walked through the door so that my daughter wouldn't know. But as I stepped inside and saw her running to greet me, I remembered her words. So when she asked, "How was your day, Mom?" I knelt down, looked into her eyes, and said the truth. "It was hard, sweetheart. Felt tired and a little overwhelmed, but seeing you now makes me feel better." Her face lit up, not because I was pretending everything was fine, but because I had trusted her with honesty. She hugged me tight, and in that hug I felt the lesson solidify. My daughter didn't need a flawless mother. She needed one who showed her what courage looks like in real life. Courage wasn't hiding tears. It was letting them fall and still choosing to get up again. Over the following days, I noticed small changes in both of us. She began opening up more too. If something upset her at school, she didn't bury it under laughter or distraction. She'd come to me and say, "Mom, I had a rough day." And we'd sit together talking it through, sometimes crying a little, sometimes laughing about how silly worries can feel once you share them. Our bond deepened in ways I hadn't thought possible, built not just on love but on honesty and trust. One evening, as we were folding laundry together, a task that had once felt so routine, asked her how she felt about our new way of sharing. She looked at me with the wisdom only children seem to carry and said, "It makes me feel safe, Mom, because I know if you can be honest and still be strong, then I can too." Her words struck me like lightning, reminding me that every choice I made in front of her wasn't just about me. It was shaping the way she saw herself, the way she would handle her own challenges as she grew. That night, after she went to bed, I sat quietly with my thoughts. For years, I had believed strength meant silence, but my daughter had turned that belief upside down. She had shown me that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to admit you're not okay and that in doing so, you give others permission to be brave too. I thought I had been protecting her by hiding my struggles. But the truth was, she was the one protecting me, reminding me that being human is not a flaw, but a gift. And as I drifted off to sleep, I realized that her words had already started to change me in ways I couldn't fully describe. Time has a way of turning small moments into lasting lessons. What began as a simple afternoon of folding clothes had become the seed of change for both me and my daughter. Weeks passed, and I found myself more present, more willing to be real, and more open with my emotions than I had ever been before. And what surprised me most was how my daughter responded, not with fear or confusion, but with strength, empathy, and wisdom far beyond her years. It was as if my honesty had given her the courage to embrace her own. One evening, I came home late from work, completely drained. The kind of tired that seeps into your bones and makes even simple tasks feel impossible. I wanted to collapse onto the couch and hide behind silence. But as I walked into the kitchen, I saw her waiting for me. Her little arms resting on the table, a drawing spread out in front of her. She looked up and smiled softly. "Mom, I made this for you." I walked over and saw it was a picture of the two of us, hand in hand, standing under a big sun with the words written in shaky letters. "It's okay to be sad. We can still shine." Tears filled my eyes instantly. That small piece of paper, filled with crayons and love, carried more power than any speech or book ever could. She wasn't just listening to my words, she was living them. She had absorbed the truth we had been learning together, that light doesn't disappear when sadness comes. It simply learns to shine differently. I hugged her tight, whispering, "Thank you, my love. You have no idea how much I needed this today." Myself that tears don't erase strength, they water it, helping it grow deeper roots. Because true strength isn't about being unshakable. It's about being honest, about allowing love to hold you when you can't hold yourself. And thanks to my daughter, that's a lesson I will never forget.